again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews in your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly. Fans, brews, and Broncos news. What's going on, Broncos country, and welcome to the last episode of 2022 for Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. My name is Kev Dan, and I have here David, and we are the two guys who apparently know how to be on time here at Orange Weekly. I'm just going to throw it out there, man. That's how I'm going to start it.
It's nothing new. It's frankly, it would be, I think, inappropriate for the season to end any other way. So
yeah, that's fair. Mm-hmm. That's fair. Well, that's normal for this to happen. What's abnormal is the Broncos to win an AFC West game
in 2022,
and
very abnormal. Yep, managed to not go winless in the division this year. Feeling pretty good about that. Beat a playoff bound division rival, more or less. So we've got a lot going for us heading into the off season. I'm just checking my watch here and noticing that they couldn't have picked. I mean, just there's no bad time for a win, but to finally pull it all together on that last game of the season, that's another, one last extra kick to the fans while we're down. That's great. But yeah, a win's a win. I shouldn't, as much as we talked up the fact that there's no such thing as moral victories, there's also no such thing as moral defeats. So Broncos win. Yeah.
You know what? I felt really good after the win yesterday. Sunday. Felt really good after the win. But after seeing what's about to pop up on our screen, David, I'm feeling even better now.
Okay.
This is oh my God.
This is
fantastic.
Oh man.
This is better than the Broncos.
No one saw this coming.
No one saw this coming.
Nobody, literally flabbergasted.
Bronco.
I want to know.
Cabre?
He had to cover up his incredibly average hair somehow, and this is, boy, it's a hat style. I don't know. We had Team Puffball, we had Team Visor, Team Luchador mask. Not a thing yet.
What is this?
It feels
there
like you're
go.
trying to make it.
That's it.
So yeah.
I think if Russ
great, man.
could wear this on the field, he would.
I'm sure he would. That there's no surprise.
Would we want him to?
No, I mean I wouldn't.
Oh.
It's fairly cringy, but
I can only do that for so long. That was a Christmas gift.
Well, it's a good one.
That is good. I love it. I really do.
Thank you.
Cody, I'm going to save your comments for when Jared gets here, just because I want to hear his reactions more than anything as well.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh man,
right. John, how's your season been?
Boys.
Yeah,
David, good to see you. It's been a long time.
Good to see you too. I remember a pretty stark victory in Broncos trivia this last time, and then just never saw you again after that. So
I had to really rethink my fandom there after that one. That was brutal.
I get it. I get it. You're back now. Humility, right? It's just like the Broncos this season. It was a humbling year. So
exactly, yeah. I've had a whole year to rethink things. It's 2023 now. We can, forget about the past and just move forward, just like the Broncos should.
And we should.
Before we forget about the past, and I know everybody wants to talk head coaches and stuff, I think we should give the fans one last chance to look back, discuss any positives that came out of this year. Is there concerns outside of the head coach? Like, are you still concerned about Russell Wilson? Do you feel better now after that's 2 games? Like, where are you at with all this? Because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, we're back on, like, okay, Hackett was 100% the problem. We replaced him. We're going to go. And there's people that are like, no, Russ is still the problem. Like, it doesn't matter who the head coach is, right? So where are you guys in that spectrum after looking back over those last year and moving forward?
I mean, it's pretty obvious that, we talked about it all year, and it doesn't stop being true because Nathaniel Hackett's no longer with the Denver Broncos. There's blame to go around. There's definitely more for Russ to work on. And yeah, he looked real good in this Chargers game for, enough to string together 285 yards and 3 touchdowns. But, he also, before that 65-yard drive at the end of the half, he had 14 passing yards. So it's not as if Russ magically fixed every game either. It's just, you've got to have a little bit more balance going forward. I think what it proved most of all is that Russ needs a strong run game, which, it's something we knew when he came into the team, but it's also not something that we had going for us really at any point during the year, except for the last 4 weeks. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon never really got their feet under them. Then Williams gets injured. Gordon does not do well as the feature, but we don't have to rehash all of this. You guys know how it went. The run game has really come on. We've had play calling that's willing to emphasize the run game and then take shots when they make sense. And it has looked a lot more cohesive as an offense the last few weeks.
Yeah. So, I mean, looks like I'm like radius. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, John. Your connection is a little spotty, but we're loving having you back.
Any tech people out there that can explain to me, why my wired connection is worse than my Wi-Fi, I will get this fixed here shortly. But it makes no sense.
You're good, man.
Is the wire kinked at any point? Is there like a knot in there? Nothing. Yeah, that's my only guess.
No, I wish there was an obvious solution.
I came at a great time to see David try to explain a wired connection like you would a water hose.
Is that not? That's not how that works.
It's not. No.
I'm not the cryptographer, Jared, so I wouldn't know how all of
not a cryptographer. So
if you do that, I mean, electricity can't flow through that, right?
Right.
I mean,
it doesn't make sense, Jared. You're a cryptozoologist.
Does it make sense?
Tell me how it works.
Did you say cryptozoologist?
Yes. Yeah. It's something crypto. I'm getting there. I know I'm getting closer. So
I trade crypto. That's what I.
Yeah. I hope
for
not.
Animals.
Yeah. Oof. Probably don't have a lot of animals left then.
Anyway,
for animals.
No, you trade on behalf of animals, you don't trade for
animals. Boy, that's rough. That giraffe.
Because the animals can't trade crypto on their own. They don't have fingers and thumbs.
They trusted you to take that to the crypto exchange and make good investments for them. And now there is no more crypto exchange, and that's
if it makes you feel any better, that's the reason I didn't get a chance to watch Sunday's game is because I was literally at the zoo, so trading crypto for zoo animals.
For zoo animals, on behalf of zoo animals.
On behalf,
we want to make it very clear.
On behalf of,
this has gone in a very weird direction.
Yeah, we don't need PETA calling us up, being like, "What is this about you trading animals?" And like, no, it's not. It's not what we meant. Misunderstanding. And anyway,
we've had a whole show shut down before for something I've done once. I'll do it again. All right,
you'll do it again.
Anyway,
oh man,
Jared, how are you and how's your hat?
Hat feels great. I found it I was distraught last week. I don't know who saw it, but I couldn't find my hat and I was beside myself. So I made it a point this week to go find it, and I did, and I feel so happy for it.
Good man.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Now we were holding an opinion or a question for you, Kev. Were we not holding a question for Jared? Which one was
that? So first off, Cody, just in general, some good comments here, felt really good about his 5th pick coming to Seattle. So
you guys are teasing me at this point.
It's fun for us.
Talking about you guys, they suck and would break tradition and let them be on time. Can't have that.
No, can't have it.
Right.
But that's it. Yeah. But so Jared, kind of what we're talking about, and get to you. So before we completely put this last season to bed, kind of where are you on the train? Obviously, anybody who's listening to the show knows you're kind of the more anti, or let's not fire Hackett train, right? With everything that's played out the last 2 weeks, especially, where are you in that spectrum of it was definitely all Hackett's fault to it was all definitely Wilson's fault, and where do you fall in that place, and what do you see that we need to do going forward?
I fall the same place I was before we put up 30-something points for the first time in like 50 years. I'm in the same spot. I do think he takes some of the blame, and I think these last 2 games have shown that what he had and what Roseberg's been able to work with is better than what we've been seeing. And whether or not it's a winning football team, a winning culture, that's to be determined. But I don't think we could take a 2-game snapshot and just say, "Yep, all Hackett's fault, guys. See, it's all fixed. Everything's good to go." So I'm on the same page. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the offseason. What I do like, what I will say that I was, and I'll admit it right now, what I was wrong about is not the offensive play calls, but obviously the disconnect between Hackett and Russell Wilson on what his reads were. Because all of a sudden you see Russell Wilson starting to make reads he didn't do in the first 6 weeks. So that makes me think that it's in practice and Hackett's telling him what his reads are. Because you look at the film and there's wide open receivers with the system. He's just not getting the ball to him or not even looking that way. And now all of a sudden he's making reads that are proper and he actually hitting guys that are wide open, which how many times do we see that in the first, 10, 13 weeks? So I think that's the one place that I know I was wrong on, is that Hackett, there was some disconnect between Hackett and Russ, and I don't think we'll ever know what that was. Whether it was Hackett telling Russ what to do, like where his reads are going to be, or Russ just like not looking at him because he doesn't believe it's the right thing. I don't know what that is. I based on what I've seen from Russ and how his demeanor is, I think it's the first one. But that's where I'm at. That's the one place I'd say I'm wrong is whatever that relationship was definitely skewed, because I don't think the system, I'll sit here and I'll still say I think the Hackett system, the offensive play calling wasn't bad. It was the execution on a lot of it, specifically on the passing game. And that's really what you're looking at. On run game, let's be honest, every single run comes down to execution. None of those runs are called unless we're calling like a run on like 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7, then maybe you're like, okay, dude, let's figure this shit out. But most runs are designated to get 3 to 4 yards. And the expectation is that they will get 3 to 4 yards. In your playbook as an offensive coordinator, you're expecting that if executed by everybody, it's going to get 3 to 4 yards. So when it doesn't, that's not a play call issue.
Right.
That's an execution issue. So that's where I stand on that whole thing. And
agreed.
I will say, David, when I jumped in, I heard you talk about Latavius Murray. I think he's the biggest surprise, best surprise of the season. And I'm super happy to have him, and having him with Javonte Williams next year, and having him
that'd be nice.
learn from him, because they're kind of similar runners. They're big brawlers, right? They're just like big guys that'll drag you with them. And I think that similar running style is really going to help out Javonte Williams next year if we can hold on to Latavius, because we only signed him through this season, right?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's.
Yeah, I would expect him to be back for sure next year. So
I'll say this on it's more Hackett's fault side than I thought it was. It just the team got a lot better on offense than I thought they would after firing Hackett. Let me put it that way. And I didn't really advocate for doing it before the end of the season, but I thought there would not be that much of a change between with Hackett and without Hackett just for those last couple of games of the season.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's tough because you have a 2-game, 2 data points there to compare to 15.
14. Right. Yeah.
14.
15.
Yeah.
And there's no way to know
other data points.
And there's no way to know.
Here's the other thing is Rosberg, and he's admitted it on camera. He had nothing to play for, nothing to lose.
Yeah.
There's a difference between having that pressure of trying to get to the playoffs and having a 2-game streak of YOLO, roll the dices, do whatever the heck we want, see if it sticks, and some of it stuck. Now, what I will say is I'm super impressed by whoever's been, I think, game planning the offense now. I think the tight end coach, along with Kubiak, right?
Wait, I think it was the offensive coordinator.
Otten?
I think it was actually Otten calling plays for the first time all season.
Not so much calling plays. Up with the game plans.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, even against Kansas City, the game plan, you saw what I like seeing as a coordinator is 2 different game plans versus 2 different types of defenses. And David, we've talked about this. We haven't done a lot of our podcasts this year, but we talk about this in depth on our podcast. You can't play the same offensive scheme against every defense. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So what I liked to see is the 2 different types of play calling we had against Kansas City and which is something that I don't think we saw. We didn't see the transition. We didn't see the different types of play calls. So the game planning in general for the offense was much better in the last 2 games. Yeah. I will say that for sure.
Yep. One report I had read, I think from Mike Kliss, talking about some things the players had told him. Well, a lot of what it sounds like some of the problems came down to inexperience, abandoning the play or the game plan too early. The moment it wasn't working perfectly, totally swapping, plans and, doing things that the team wasn't practicing that week or really not focusing on. And now you're having to execute in those game time situations without having, done that the week before, or probably for several weeks, depending on the situation. And so, obviously the validity of these things, we're not going to ever find out the specifics, right? But I think we can all agree that when it comes down to it, I can look back and say, man, it should have been a much bigger red flag when we found out who the assistants and the coordinators are going to be. And we saw it was first time. You know what I mean?
We raised it.
Yeah.
We overcorrected for having older guys. We wanted the young new blood. We wanted to try to get somebody in here that was going to, like the Sean
There's
McVay,
a middle ground.
Going to change our right, and that's what everybody was fighting for and asking for.
Yeah.
It's not like it's this. Again, the hindsight 2020, but like we were trying to overcorrect for Vance Joseph and overcorrect for the Don, right? We were trying to overcorrect for those guys. And that's what we did. And we overcorrected, and then he never got anybody back there until Rosberg came on board when he finally decided, oh, shit, I don't know how to run an offense and be a head coach yet. And that's when he brought the experience in. But
right.
Yeah, at the time, I agree. I think we did raise the red flag, to be honest. I think we did.
It was a concern. I think it, obviously, like you said, hindsight 2020, but I think it should have been a bigger concern across the board. I don't know. We'll never know, and it is what it is at this point. But I think it is maybe time to start looking forward. And so, John, looking over to you, man.
Me?
What other than coaching? Yes, Mr. John. Get you back in the conversation here. So, other than coaching, what are some of the other areas you're really looking for the Broncos to build up this offseason?
I mean, it's going to be interesting. It will come down to the head coach initially. Mainly, if we're looking, I mean, the big rumor mill is Sean Payton, right? And if we're going to have to give up draft picks to take a guy like that, we're probably looking at a free agency, not rebuild, but like for new players coming into this, it's going to be more free agency than the draft, which it already is going to be that way. But if we're giving up, some prime draft picks to get a head coach, it just leads even more towards that free agency look for us. So And look, I still have faith in George Payton as a talent evaluator, and he's picked up some good guys in the draft and free agency. So no doubt we can do it. The Rams won a Super Bowl doing it that way. So it's not impossible. Don't ignore 2022 for them, of course. And that looks like a interesting choice. But hey, look, I'll take a Super Bowl and then one bad year any day. Now, I don't want 7 more years after a Super Bowl, but that'd be a different story. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. The guys we re-signed, the biggest one being Dalton Reisner, I think is our biggest potential free agent, right? Do we bring him back? I think he's kind of a no-brainer, to be honest. On this offensive line, there's not many studs for us. I wouldn't say he's necessarily a stud, but he's at least consistent and a quality player.
Yeah.
As you mentioned that, John, I'm coming up with great ideas over here by myself. So stand by. I just thought about this. If we have to give up Sean, if we get Peyton, right? If we get him over here, we have to give up draft picks. You know who has to be part of that conversation is Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson has to be a part of that conversation. How bad do you want a guy like Sean Payton coaching you? And if so, are you willing to restructure your contract so we can go out and get these guys in free agency as opposed to the draft? Because we have to give up draft capital, and we can't. It's not like we can get guys off the streets anymore. We have to go out and use money to get them. So that part of that conversation has to be: if you want this guy as the quarterback, as the leader of this team, if you want this guy, you're going to have to restructure your contract.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair pitch to a guy like Russell Wilson, who, look, the guy's made some bank over his career, and he's making bank from the Broncos right now. So it's going to be, what's more important to you, the money or the winning? I'm not going to fault the guy if he's like, you guys gave me a contract, I'm going to play out this contract, or you're going to have to release me. I'm not going to fault him for that, for looking out for himself as well. But it's an interesting conversation. You can make the argument, hey, look, you haven't played up to this contract to this level yet.
Right.
And it's already a prove-it year too. It's not the easiest thing to get out from under Russell Wilson's contract after the 2023 season, but it's a lot easier than it is to do right now. And it's the first time in the length of that contract that it goes from absolutely ludicrous to actually feasible to do that if you need to do that. So it's not as if Russell Wilson has this huge tether to play with right now. And I think he knows that as well as anybody does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Jared, you brought up a good point. For the past few years, we've been top, in the top 5 of having cap space to go into free agency. And now this Russell Wilson contract, essentially, we're not in the bottom by any means, but we're in the middle of the pack. We're not we don't have money to spend the same way we did the last few years.
Well, that, and then the outlook of not having first round picks for at least definitely this year, but maybe next year possibly, if that's what New Orleans is really asking for to get first picks. Yeah. So if we're talking about another 2 years and no first round draft picks, we already traded 2 first for you. Now we're having to trade another one to get the guy you want. Let's work on getting some people around you, because there's no way we can get people around you to help you out if we're stuck with your contract. Yeah. So it really does come down to, John, what do you want? Do you want the money for the next 4 years so you can retire? Or do you want us to get people around you to make you better and get the Super Bowl? And then after those 4 years, you get another one of these giant contracts. Because that's another piece too. Like is he playing for retirement, or is he playing for the next contract? Right. These are all things that he's got to think about.
Yeah. All I know is I would gladly take a pay cut to keep working with you guys. So just throw that out there,
It's hard to go it's hard to go from spending money for us to taking more of a pay cut. Are you going to spend more money for us? Is that what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. What does a pay cut look like for Kevin?
Don't worry about it. Oh man. Hey, we got a blank comment here from Clayton. A couple of them. We know what that means. That means he has donated some stars. Thank you, good sir. Appreciate your support. Everybody else who wants to donate, money me now, money me now,
moneying me now, money please.
I think that's the new official slogan here at Orange Weekly. We're just going to steal that from It's Always Sunny until they give us a copyright violation, and then we'll go from there.
Again, we've been busted for copyright violation once. We can do it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we're still here.
We're not afraid.
If you guys don't want to donate, but still want to help
afraid,
out,
but not of
please
that.
please go to our, the iTunes and Google Plays and Spotify's and wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us a 5-star review. That helps us out just as much as a money donation as well. However, money donations, if you do them in places like OnlyFans, Jared will take his top off for you. So just keep that in mind.
The whole top.
The whole of all of it.
But leave the hat. We're leaving the hat, right?
Well, yes,
hat stays. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's also how we can get away with putting our title as not completely nude. So
yeah, right.
Although it's never mind.
Hey,
by the way,
what other
topics
you guys got?
Well, I just want to say real quick, I appreciate seeing Jared for the first time, I think, in probably a year. So it's nice to be on a show with you this year, Jared. I just wanted to wait until going into the wild card weekend to hang out with you again.
Yeah, I miss you. I miss your hair.
His hair is pretty perfect.
You missed the Lucha Libre beginning. Sorry, you'll have to pay extra for that one though. Or just rewatch it.
It was better than seeing you topless. Let's put it that way.
Me topless or Jared topless?
No, Jared topless.
Either way,
it's much better than seeing Jared topless.
I want to see that all the time.
I can't think of much things that are better than seeing me topless.
I'll tell you what, guys. You do it 4 days in a row, it loses the novelty. Don't ask me how I know that, but I know that it loses. Loses a lot. Yeah, it's a couple days. You're like, all right. I mean, this is nice, but let's variety of life. Yeah,
there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of John and being perfect, and John is pretty perfect. However, he is human and he is not perfect. John lost the fantasy football league this year to our outsider.
He's not even a Broncos fan.
Let me say this. Let me say this. He barely beat me in the playoffs to get to this spot where he's playing John, and then I destroyed him these last 2 weeks. If I would have, I had one bad week where freaking Josh Jacobs didn't do much, and somebody else on my team that's normally a big scorer didn't do much. And all of a sudden, he beats me in the semifinals, and then I destroy everybody in the finals. Like, I've been destroying everybody all year, and this is bullshit, and I think it's rigged.
Well, first time a non-Orange Weekly person has won first place in the Orange Weekly Fantasy League.
So, he's out of the league.
Yeah, got to boot him. Yeah.
I'm going to say that his hair is better. So there you go, John.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Kevin. That means a lot, actually. Jared, there are 4 people that went into the playoffs in this league. 2 of them were in your household. 2 of them were in your household.
No, I know.
Okay, just want to make sure that we all understand.
I understand this. And all season, we were both doing very well until the first round of the playoffs. All of a sudden, 2 or 3 of our players just decide to not play a game or 2, and just Josh Jacobs doesn't need a touchdown this week. Nice. Who else was? The running back from Derrick Henry. Yeah, screw it. Derrick Henry's fine. He'll just get injured for a game or 2. No big deal. You're not in the playoffs or anything. And then Chris, you beat my wife. And then if you look at the final score, both me and my scored both you and Chris in the finals. I just want to let you know.
Jared, garbage. I will. In my defense, I had Jamar Chase, who got 0 points a week ago because of a very unfortunate incident on the field. So I feel like some sort of reconciliation was due there. But
you lost by a lot, though, and I
know I wasn't going to bring it up.
Yeah, it was like a 25-point spread,
fellas.
If it was close, I would have brought it up. But I was like,
I got blown the fuck. If it had been like if it had been like within 10 points, that probably would have been a conversation we had, but well outside of that. So,
well, his Bills defense got an automatic 10 points, so I'm just gonna throw that out there.
As somebody whose fantasy season went downhill pretty early in the year, I have just one piece of advice for the both of you, and that is that it sucks to suck. All right, guys, it sucks to suck.
Yeah, it does.
And I know that from experience, firsthand. I've been going through that for a lot of weeks this season, so just deal with it because it's
right there with
you. Say, yeah, I like how you pointed out two people. So me and Jared.
No, because Kevin's been in that. No, yeah,
Kevin's
in the same boat with me. Kevin,
it was like week 3, and I was like,
David,
"Fuck it, I'm fucked this year."
Yeah. So sucks to suck.
David, I'm gonna tell you something that us as Broncos fans are gonna get for the next at least 4 to 5 weeks. Is if you're not in the playoffs, you're not in the conversation, dude.
Yeah.
Well, Jared, are you in the playoffs anymore? No,
I mean,
you're not. Right. So nobody's in the playoffs anymore. If you didn't make the dance, If you didn't make it to the dance, don't complain about who won the dance. Like you're not allowed to talk. You didn't even make it to the dance. Sure, I am. Here I am.
You're not dancing, David.
No, neither are you.
My friends don't dance.
You are sitting.
And if they don't dance,
well, they're no friends of mine.
They're no friends of mine.
Damn you! How dare you quote the men without hats to me? How dare you? How dare you? It's upsetting. It's very upsetting, especially since John, is the only man here without a hat.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's behind me.
I see it there behind you. It's got a very nice display case in there.
Oh, is that the Lucha Libre thing you were talking about?
It's not on your head though.
I think everyone is going to be surprised to hear that Ayla didn't make the playoffs when she took Brandon McManus in the first round of our draft.
Yeah, she did beat me.
I thought she was a lot.
Yeah.
So
talk about someone who didn't have a great season.
Yeah,
she still beat me once.
I thought you were talking about Brandon McManus.
I was talking about Brandon McManus.
Yeah, okay.
I was talking about Brandon McManus.
So now there's a question, fellas. Getting back to the football a little bit. Do you think 2022 was...
hold on, what were you for?
Do you think that 2022 was the last year of Brandon McManus in a Broncos uniform?
No. If he has a repeat next year, then yes. But I think, this year was just for so many people, worst case scenarios, and anything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. He was clearly frustrated. I think at a certain point, you just get into your own head. This is an outlier. I think he'll be back.
I think he'll be back, but I think he gets too much leeway.
I definitely think this is.
I agree with
kicker
that.
of the Broncos. Like he's still, and nothing against kickers. I played soccer my whole life. I love kickers, but he gets too much of a pass a little bit sometimes.
I mean, when has he been top 5 in the league in any important statistical category? That's
handsomeness.
Yeah, but is that? I mean,
handsomeness? Is that what you just went with?
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
You heard that correctly.
Not only making up categories, but also making up words.
I'm not anti-McManus, but the whole Ham versus Hackett thing is this is still the kicker we're talking about here. It's not Russell Wilson against McManus. Against Hackett. So I think he's gonna stay, but his contract's pretty rich for a kicker. So look, all I'm saying is the Broncos love to find good kickers. When was the last time we had a bad kicker? I can't think of one, honestly.
So I did some Yahoo searches, right? And Yahoo search, Bing searches told me his contract ends.
Why didn't you pull up Internet Explorer? Do we not want accurate results?
Are we not doing this?
I thought we wanted accurate
that
results.
We're doing this whole show on Internet Explorer. Is that?
Do you have MSN? Do you still have MSN?
But when I open my computer, some sweet female tells me you've got mail.
You've got some of those America Online discs. Now we're talking.
I get a you've got mail, and they're super sweet. It's super nice to get greeted that way. Anyway, so for the next 2 years, we got 2 more years on a contract. He's getting $3.5 million this year, plus a part of his signing bonus, and then almost $4 million next year. So we still got him on contract for 2 years. I don't think anybody's going to pick that up. He's a Bronco for the next 2 years.
We'll have to pick that up. What's our What's our hit?
Yeah, I feel like I have to disagree with you pretty strongly there.
Cap hit. Literally, the cap hit is more than his contract.
Yeah.
The cap hit, his base salary is 3.7 mil this year, and his cap hit's 4.9 mil. So if we got rid of him, we'd be paying more to get rid of him than it would be to just, unless we traded him. And I don't think there's anybody up for a trade right now. I think we just keep on. He's a staple in Colorado, and we keep him for the next 2 years.
What's not an
I don't
NFL
think he did
thing?
terrible enough to cut him.
No. And look, I'm not arguing that we should. I'm just saying the guy gets paid a lot for a kicker, and we historically have always had good kickers.
Yeah.
Sorry, the dead cap. What we would lose if we just cut him would be 2.5
mil.
So he's worth 3.7, and we the cap hit
Now,
the dead cap is 2.5.
Is that total, including next year and this year?
No, it's 2.5 this year, and next year is 1.2.
Okay.
Well, then you got to factor in the 3.7.
I feel like we have spent way too much time talking about whether Brandon McManus is going to be a Bronco next year. I think he's going to be a Bronco next year.
That's what I was trying to get at. Like we got
10.
him on contract for 2 years. I think he's a good kicker. I think he had an off year. Now, if he does it again, next year's dead cap space is 1.2 million. I think that's an easy answer. Now, if he has the same season he had last year, then yeah, that's an easy answer. But other than that, I think he's a Bronco next year.
Okay.
I use statistics and facts for you, David.
You did.
Yeah,
there was a lot there. There was a lot of words, at least.
I used numbers.
You did.
And statistics.
You didn't even get your abacus out, though. How am I supposed to know?
I noticed.
How am I supposed to know?
Where is the hibiscus?
I don't. But how am I supposed to know that your facts and figures are accurate if they're not measured precisely?
I think that's a fair point.
With the green bead,
I did not calculate
the red
this
beads
properly.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here's the question tailor made for
yes.
Jared from Clayton. Who do you guys want for our starting linebacking crew? So
Our linebackers are fine. We're good. We don't need any more. We're fine.
There you go. There you go. I'm anxious to hear Jared's thoughts here because I've heard him complain about our linebackers an awful lot, but I've never heard him actually offer any names, any replacements, any solutions. Who are your guys, Jared? Who are you getting?
Well, I know what research I'm doing before the next show because I've done none of this year. So I'll be honest. I don't think they did as great as everybo's saying they did.
They did good with what we had.
We
did good with what we had.
I'll say they did very well in what I thought was going to be their weakness, which was part of the run game. However, if you notice that, and I'll pull up all the stats and facts and hibiscus figures to pull up how many times we got beat on the inside run for more than 10 yards. And I think that it was a pretty astonishing number how many times we got beat on the inside. Now, however, we did very well in the red zone. So that's give it to our linebacking crew for that. We obviously did let them allow a lot of touchdowns this year. However, I still think we need an inside linebacker. Now, I don't think we go out and get some big time. I don't think that like last year, I don't think inside linebackers are biggest need anymore. I'll say that. I don't think inside
how far
linebackers
did it go down
are biggest.
the list? Because it was like one or two for you for probably 5 years.
Oh, thanks, Tracy. I'll go grab my visor in a minute. It's been for like 5-6 years. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Right tackle, I think, is number one still, or back to number one. And then I think interior defensive line. I know we had a lot of injuries on that, but I think that's another place we could shore up to help those linebackers. And then that's about it. That's where I'm at.
So
and then inside linebackers. So I'm saying on offense, of our top three, only one of them are offense.
Okay. But what I'm not hearing from you is a name.
No, I told you I don't have a name.
Do some
and
research.
I just told you that David doesn't even listen to me. Look, I'm telling you, David asks a question and he waits for a key word. And then it's like the Charlie Brown, like rah, 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 and then until I say the right word, and then he just keeps like he just doesn't listen to a single thing I say anymore.
No, see, I listen. I what I'm listening to is you use like 50 to 75 words to answer a question that I didn't ask instead of just answering the question that I did ask.
David, we're in Broncos media. That's what we do.
Is that what you're
That's part of the job description, David. You use too many words to describe something that's really easy to answer.
I don't want the Vance Joseph answer, Jared. I want the Jerry Rosberg answer. Give me the Jerry Rosberg answer.
Okay, it is weird. It's not worth going out and getting a free agency in this free agency period because I think it's more expensive than just dealing with who we have.
Okay, good. All right.
I like it. Well, what about cornerbacks?
Do you guys think a number 2 cornerback for next year emerged on the team this year? I don't know that one did. I think we've got a lot of guys who are ideally like competing with a veteran for that number 2 corner spot with Damari Mathis. I can't even remember the undrafted rookie's name who just went out there and played decently against the Chargers.
Not
is it Williamson? I don't know.
Yeah,
but anyway, you've got a lot of young guys in there who you say, yeah, it would be nice if one of those guys stepped up. But I don't know if you've got if you feel comfortable, like right now, declaring, yeah, this is our number 2 cornerback, starting outside cornerback for next year.
Right. I'd agree with that. Depending on what they do, because look, I'm feeling that they're going to trade out of the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if we get, a second round this year. And I think that might be, do you think you still?
I mean, you'll get a second round if you trade out of the first round this year, I think. I don't know that you'll get a second round plus much more.
Oh, yeah. No, you might.
You get maybe like a second and a fourth round, I think, to trade out of where the Broncos will be picking in the first round this year.
Yeah. I think that's gonna make things interesting because then when you're looking at, do we need to get an offensive lineman or, any other, how convoluted does it get when you're looking at best man available versus team need when you're that far down the board with being your first pick?
For sure.
Now, what do you think, John?
I hate talking about the draft right now because I don't know what's going to happen with the Sean Payton thing.
We're wrapping it up, man.
Thing, throws everything off for a loop. Until our head coach is figured out, I don't know what the fuck we're going to do in the draft.
Look, to be honest, guys, I don't see the Sean Payton thing happening. I don't.
Wait, are we talking about? Oh man, we moved on. I was doing research and we moved on the conversation. Now
it's all combined. No, the conversation's all combined.
Cornerback conversation.
Yes.
Can we just quick?
I kind of missed that whole thing. My internet just wants to suck today.
Yeah. Can we get So Ronald Darby we have on contract for one more year. He's been on IR basically, I think, all the year, hasn't he? I think
except 2 or 3 games.
He was still playing great. He was playing amazing.
He was playing really well.
So we have him on contract, and let's be honest, Kwan Williams, even Lamar Jackson, who we picked up in the offseason, has been playing pretty well. Isang Bassi is kind of whatever, and then McMillan, I think, David, that's who you were looking at, the undrafted rookie out of East Carolina, who is playing okay. I think we have a decent secondary, and again, I think a lot of it comes down to the system. The defensive system that we have currently is working very well for us. But I think that they're playing pretty well. I don't think that there's need at corner. Now, we already have a top corner in the league, and we might be biased, but I think we have one of the top 5 corners in the league to be able to shut down their number 1.
Yeah, that's not crazy.
And then we have our number 2 guy on their number 2 guy. Like, it's easy. So
our top 3
I don't think corner is an issue.
No, K'Wan Williams was also playing like a stud for up until week 12, week 11 when he got hurt. Those 3 guys, it's injuries there. It's just so tough. But I was really bummed with Ojemudia when he came back from injury. I really thought for the last couple of years he was just like building and building, and then I don't know.
I think he's been cut.
Yeah, he's gone now. He's totally gone. So those other guys you mentioned, they were just kind of fill-in players that look. If they did one thing good, you were surprised. So I think they're going to be practice squad type players.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
maybe they make the 53-man roster as a fifth string type guy, and McMillan, yeah, like he had his time to shine against the Chargers. He kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't even know he was on the team until the game started. So
I had no idea who he was.
By the way,
none.
Definitely an interception.
That
was
definitely
BS
an interception.
reffing, which
Yep, definitely an interception. And apparently you can body slam Broncos quarterbacks to the ground, but what do I know?
We have
That
not.
was the week before, though.
I'm still salty.
Very little love. Very little love from the rest of the season, it felt like.
Hey, I'll tell you, we really reverted back to average on penalties this season. That's great, right? Remember when it was like just fucking 12 penalties a game?
Yep.
And
we really did take it down.
Weren't we like bottom of the barrel like half?
Oh, I'm sure we're still like bottom 3 team in penalties just because of how bad it was.
It's not if we're not still the first.
Right, yeah. Like for those first 8 or 9 games of the season, I'm sure that was enough to keep us
bad.
at the bottom for the rest of the year. But hey,
we only had 3, so yeah.
It got better. We came a lot closer to average at the end there. That's great.
Well, I'll tell you what. One of Roseberg's when he first came in, the first thing he said, and, you know, from the military background that 3 of us have, is the discipline, discipline piece. When he came in, yeah, damn.
No, I won't.
Is when he came in, he goes, they were like, what's the first thing? Any other coach is going to come in and be like, oh, I'm going to fix the offense, or we're going to bring the team together. He goes, discipline. He goes, the first thing we need to get down on this team is discipline. And we need to make sure that everyone's on the same page and doing this right thing and not just doing whatever the hell they want. Like, it's the first thing he was going to do. So that was one of the cool things I thought he brought in. And which is why I think if that's what this team needs, if we are going off these past 2 games as something that's what this team needs, then we need to get a guy like Harbaugh or Peyton.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't, even Dan Quinn. I don't think we do another one of these like players coaches. We didn't do well with Vance Joseph, didn't do well with Hackett, and
so Jared, is this you transitioning now into the head coach talk? Because I feel like we kept trying to get there, and then you just kept pulling us back.
Yeah, no, John, you have to understand. Things have changed here. We don't transition until I allow it to transition.
I'm not in the fold. I'm not in the fold, if you will.
No, you have to understand. Things don't transition until I allow it to transition. So now this is
like
my
Kevin.
Permission to transition.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Kevin, you can transition now.
Oh, okay. I wasn't really transitioning before. It was all kind of a mass conversation of topics all rolling into each other.
You got
that's
the joke.
fine.
I get it.
I got it. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
No.
We're still all on the same page. That's cool.
Well, we are getting close to the end here, so I do want to.
Kevin, we're talking about coaches. Give us a chance to talk about coaches.
No, I don't. You said transition, so I'm transitioning. Yes.
Yeah, but
right,
you
Kevin,
don't. But
Kevin not only didn't get the joke, but also didn't understand the transition. So he's been sidelined.
Then transitioned out of the show.
Oh, that transition.
We benched.
I don't have the script.
Kevin.
Oh, that transition. After
I don't have the script.
Hey,
last week, and then we tried to spoon feed you, and by we I mean they, because I really didn't understand what was going on either. But I didn't ruin it. I didn't ruin it, Kevin. I didn't.
We're all here. We're all happy. We're all laughing at you. It's great.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know what to
And
read.
so as we transition,
Just remember, we're laughing at you, not with you.
Right.
Correct.
And as we transition,
That's the
from
better
laughing with
version,
you
right?
To laughing at you.
It's the good version. Yes.
mhm.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for you, Kevin.
Well, I can go ahead and.
Kev, you want me to transition this? I
do it.
will. I
Do
will.
you have the
job.
script?
It's
I
too
think
late.
Kevin's still confused about the transition situation.
I don't
Too
know.
late.
I don't know
I
how to
have-
transition when I don't have the script.
I got this, you
Wait,
guys. Don't
why
worry.
don't you have the Kev? This
Something
is your
about-
job.
DraftKings and
If you
how
go to the
15
folder of January 9th through today, there is no script in that folder.
Well, this seems like a well-run show.
Man, we're doing.
Don't you think?
This is what happens when I don't show up for weeks and weeks on end.
Actually, I think
I was clearly the glue of the show.
You're the
your
one throwing me
presence,
off, John.
right? I think
Hey,
your presence is it's created
We
a
just
schism.
used the most
John.
recent one, dude. Like, we're just gonna use the most recent ones.
David,
Okay.
some people like to watch the world burn.
Is that what some people do with their perfectly average hair? Go ahead, Jared.
Okay, you guys ready?
You can't hurt me.
Okay,
I am
yep, go for it.
unhurtable this season.
You know, I'm gonna sit back and enjoy this ride. Go for it, man.
Don't
Hey,
mention
you guys
the
want to talk
ride.
about
That's
head
just,
coaches?
let's not ride.
There's a transition.
We're not-
It's that easy, guys.
We're not-
Hey, you guys want? Yeah.
All right, ready?
6 words.
The fans,
Ugh,
Oh,
the tradition,
I hate this.
the glory. There's nothing more thrilling than college. Oh no, this doesn't work because this is talking about the national championship game. That's why
but
you
you were on a
enjoying
roll,
the
Jared.
ride.
You stopped yourself.
No, I was. Hey, this is talking about the
I
national
tried
championship
to
game. That
stop
shit's
you.
over. The Georgia Bulldogs won. My go-to betting for the Georgia Bulldogs is DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. And then I'm supposed to discuss the national championship game that happened yesterday. And right now, for new customers, if you bet just $5 on a college football game, which there's no more of, you get $200 in free bets instantly, win or lose. So now I get where you're coming from, Kevin. I understand now why you were so
We
confused.
don't listen to Kev Dan.
No,
Because
well, we all
football's
know that.
over. What do you bet on now? I mean, I will still be
Yeah.
betting on things.
Kevin, we can't
Yeah,
give you the
listen,
benefit of the doubt when
basketball.
you've consistently let us down so often. I'm sorry.
What do you mean so
Hey,
often?
and listen, okay, DraftKings has some random ass bets. Like you could bet on like
There-
like India pickleball. Like you can bet on some crazy ass shit on there if you want to. Tennis, I think, is in season. What else we got? I think baseball is baseball in season.
Australians, no, baseball is not anywhere close.
Okay. Oh, hockey.
NBA,
Hockey. We got hockey.
NBA.
Avalanche. Yeah.
Abs.
It's,
Let's go.
it's the
Let's go
NBA,
Abs.
the NHL, and the Australian Open coming up soon. Starts.
Oh,
this
and
Monday.
Australia. I'm sure there's some rugby happening somewhere. I think
I wouldn't-
rugby is
I don't
a
know about that.
sport that you can bet on.
I mean, it is, but I don't know if it's happening right now. It's mostly an English sport, and they don't do a lot of. Maybe in Australia, where they have good weather all year round.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you're watching Australian rugby and you want to bet on them, this is what I need you to do. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use code TPPN. New customers, you bet $5, you might win $200 in free bets instantly because I think that's only for football. But anyways, you use code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Nailed it.
That's how you transition, Kevin. You see how we just
That's
transitioned?
when you do transition, Kevin.
Yeah,
Is
that's how.
That's
how.
it's supposed to go?
You talk
It is.
about
Is that?
Mhm.
you don't
Yeah.
know what sports are going on in the world
David,
for the
Yeah.
next like what 9
Are you
months,
sure, David?
8 months, 7 months,
Yeah.
and then
pretty sure.
DraftKings got your back.
Yeah.
Can you lose us? I mean, we can definitely lose the DraftKings sponsorship, right? Like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we got.
we
yeah,
might just
there's-
have.
I still
Yeah.
think we fulfilled the obligation. We said go
Actually,
back.
they don't know that we're
Yeah,
still.
that's true.
They don't know that we're still sponsored by them.
they're watching.
They thought they discontinued that a while ago.
It's
So,
like
Yeah.
an
the
accounting,
office-
accounting error.
yeah, we've been getting the
yeah,
emails.
yeah, it's
by
accounting
accident.
error. It's one of those
Right.
contract
fixed
things
the
that are
glitch.
like, what's this?
We fixed.
Yeah,
the
why are we
glitch.
spending like pennies on these guys? Like,
It's more expensive for their company to cut us off than it is to just keep paying us what they're paying us because
yeah,
of
they
some
have
weird
to pay
accounting
someone
rules.
to do the contract, like to get rid of the
Right.
contracts.
Right. Yeah. So they might as
Everyone
well.
can just shh. Everyone watching, just no one tell DraftKings. Even though I'm sure they
Yeah, be
watch
cool.
every single thing that they
Be cool.
sponsor.
Be cool.
Be cool,
Yeah,
guys.
be cool. Don't be an arc. Be cool.
Cool. Be cool.
Be cool.
Be
I know all the
cool.
members of Team Puffball are cool. Some of the members of Team Visor, not so sure. But
Team Visor
we'll-
is on point. All right.
Are they? Are
Hey,
you
Hey,
gonna,
this might be the first. This might be the first show in how many years that none of us are wearing our team.
It's true.
Our team.
I wore mine. I'm just gonna say I wore mine.
I wore
Team,
mine.
team Lucha Libre is.
Team Lucha Libre.
We got your back.
But who are you talking to?
I don't know, but
Yeah, right.
Anybody who will
I
listen.
assume there's some wrestling fans out there that want to be Team Lucha Libre.
Yeah, they should be.
It's a reasonable assumption.
I'm down
I
for
don't know
some
how many
wrestling.
times I'm going to wear that in my lifetime, but
Who wants to wrestle?
All right, since I took over Kevin Square on Foursquare here, I want to transition us into the head coach talk for the last couple minutes because we're getting ready to. Aww. I thought this was like a hierarchy. There we go. All right, so and I'm going to transition us into the head coach talk.
Wait, how did I get to be last square if it's a hierarchy? What the hell is this?
Now, at least you know.
David,
It's
you
more
know
important
why.
to know, David.
That's right.
No,
There you go.
David, you know why.
No, I don't know why, Jared. Why don't you explain it to me and the audience here? I'll wait.
Ooh,
Here's
Wait,
the
no,
hierarchy.
All right.
We're good.
This is where. Oh,
I
okay.
accept.
All right.
I accept my position.
It started with me, for the record. You originally pulled me in. Subconsciously, you wanted me to be there, just for the record.
Yeah.
So, yeah, head coach talk. Let's talk about this. So, Sean Payton is going to cost some money and draft picks. Jim Harbaugh, who told Michigan last year that he's not going to try to go to the NFL every year, and then did. And then Dan Quinn still in the conversation. I think they were talking about was the Rams defensive coordinator they were looking at interviewing as well.
Yeah, Raheem
What do we
Morris, D'Amico Ryans is on the interview list.
Raheem Morris, yeah. San Francisco's DC, right? That's
both.
Raheem
Yeah,
Morris.
Yeah, both. Yeah. No, I'm saying,
Evero,
Raheem.
Evero's going to get a shot, I think.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Evero's
Everett.
gonna
already
interview.
interviewed. No.
So it's those three guys, and then the three guys mentioned already: Harbaugh, Payton, and Quinn. I don't know, fellas. At this point, I've got pluses and minuses for each of the big three.
Right.
It does feel like that's who they're going to go for is one of those big three. I think I would bet a good deal of money on DraftKings that it would be either Peyton, Quinn, or Harbaugh. Right now, like I said, I can think of really good things about each of them and things that give me significant pause about each of them. So, is there anyone that stands out to you guys above the others?
To me, and this is definitely me projecting my own opinion, but I think one, if it's Harbaugh or Peyton, they're getting a dump truck full of money shown up to their front door by courtesy of Walmart, and all of our Walmart dollars going to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that
Everybody
if
shop
it
at
pans
Walmart.
out.
This again, and I rant about this a lot, but it's especially true of coaches because there's no salary cap for coaches. Guys, don't worry about how much the coach is getting paid. It's not your money,
Right.
and the person whose money it is can afford it. So yeah.
We have the richest owner
They
in the
replaced
NFL.
it.
We
They
can afford it.
replaced a $200,000 field for one game.
One game. Yeah, it's going to need to be replaced again before next season. So yeah, that's absolutely right.
We have the
They've
richest
probably
owner.
already torn it up.
Yeah, right.
It's probably
For sure.
already gone.
Yeah.
Now.
Richest owner in the NFL. They can afford to drop some bank on whoever the head coach is.
Right.
I think they probably only do it for Harbaugh or, and I'm going to say that wrong for some reason right now, but and Peyton.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, that's the only way we entice Peyton to come to the Broncos is by giving him a shit ton of money. Because it's not the best situation. The big question mark is Russell Wilson right now. Like, is he still Russell Wilson? Look, you played great against the Chargers after, David made the good point of that first half was pretty rough to watch aside from the first drive and the last 20 seconds. So they are making the bet on Russell that this was an outlier year. They kind of have to, but they could dump him after this next year, and not look like total morons. I mean, George Payton probably goes with him if they dump him for the contract extension, if nothing else. But I agree with whoever said it, David or Jared. One of you two. I know it wasn't Kevin, but
It's probably me.
Definitely not Kevin. Yeah.
it does feel like a big three
Nothing
situation.
we could agree with that.
It seems like Dan Quinn, I think, is the one outlier of those three that could come at a reasonable price. And again, it's my own projection here. I've built up the first two like way higher in my head for sure.
I think it's going to be Harbaugh. I just do not see us. I don't see us being so desperate to give up draft picks for Sean Payton.
No, I disagree, Kevin. I think Walmart wants to, and I don't know if this is, if I'm offending people by saying Walmart, I don't mean it that way, but I think they want to make it very clear that they want to win and they want to win now. So I'm not going to be surprised if they give up a first-round pick this year. Now, if we're talking multiple years like we did with Russell Wilson, I don't want to do that with Peyton, but I won't be surprised if we lose out in a number, 25, 26, 32 pick in the draft to give up to get to Peyton. I wouldn't be surprised.
And while I'll tell you why I like Peyton the most, and then I'll tell you why I don't like Peyton.
That sounds like a good synopsis.
Right, yeah, exactly. Because I think Peyton is the best coach, and you can argue Harbaugh too, but for after Russ. And whether Russ works out next year or not, if you keep Peyton around for the long haul, I think he's the best guy to take your franchise the next step after that, of the three that we're talking about. Now, on the other hand, Jared, you talked about this last week, and I think it was a really good point. He already left coaching once, and he has that Fox deal waiting in the wings for him whenever he wants to step into it, which is, a lot fewer hours, a lot less stress for more money. Like, I think 4 times more money even than like a really well-paid head coach gets paid.
Very good
so
point.
Yeah, it's the same with Harbaugh. I think he's a really good coach that would turn this team around really quickly and instill a really good culture really fast. But, he's also an asshole and really difficult to work with. And it's, there's only so many Bill Belichick types that you're willing to let stomp around this league like their shit doesn't stink. You know what I mean? And, as soon as he, if you turn in one losing season and you're John Harbaugh at that point, and can you afford to turn in losing seasons and be that guy? So it's like I said.
I will say, David, it worked for Urban Meyer.
Yeah, right. No, that's you
forget about Urban Meyer.
Undeniable point. Can't argue against it. Damn.
So here's the other thing. Sean Payton is only on contract till 24. So he only has basically one more year
and then
of this trade process to happen. So there's some
I would hazard a guess, and this is just me guessing, but it feels like a Russell Wilson type scenario where you don't agree to go through the entire framework and trade for him without putting a contract extension in place too. But
that too. Yeah,
but I don't know that for sure, but that seems to me.
Yeah, and for that reason, I'm out.
Fair enough. Okay,
that's fair, and honestly that's a very valid take.
Yeah, absolutely right.
But
so the question originally was, if we were all to pick one, who would it be? And let's see who's right. So let's start. We'll go opposite hierarchy here. So David, you first.
Harbaugh.
Is this
Harbaugh? Okay.
Is this who I want or who ends up the head coach?
Jared, you froze while giving the answer.
Sorry, I froze. Ask the question again, John. I'm gonna need you to ask the question again.
Is it who I want or who ends up as the head coach?
Who ends up? Let's go. Winner. I'll do something for somebody. I don't know. I'll strip her, or I don't know. Free OnlyFans for a couple of months. Whatever the case is,
anyway.
winner.
Do I win it? Do the fan do the people watch?
No, you win it. I mean, come on. I mean, I can send you something too.
I don't want it.
Oh.
Wow. I mean,
it always ends up to Jared naked, and I'm not a big fan of that.
Why not?
I mean, yeah, but is that not
one of few?
I've never tried it, but I just.
See, that's the problem.
Like something I like.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's like beer. You don't know.
Oh, I like beer.
Tried. Yeah, well, I know because you
I'm
tried
a big
it.
fan of beer.
But I didn't like beer the first time that I tried it, much like Jared's nudity. But it grew on me.
Yeah.
So
that's yeah.
All right, John.
Well,
No, it's
much like facial hair grows on all of us.
Oh.
Sorry. What was the answer to my question?
The question.
What was the answer to your
who's
question?
actually going to get hired?
Who's actually
going to get hired? Not who you want, but who's actually going to be the guy?
I think it's going to be Sean Payton because I think the Broncos are giving him a dump truck full of money to say, "Hey, fix Russell Wilson." and it's going to be hard for him to pass that up. And I think it's the trade compensation. I think they're going to work out. I don't want it to be more than one first round pick. I'm okay giving up this year's first round pick because it's going to be so low.
Well, I mean, we don't. Oh, because we have San Francisco's first round this year.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not willing to give up. Actually, I'm 100% willing to give up Seattle's first round pick for this year if that was an option.
Can we take that back? Can we just?
Yeah. Can we just
have that back,
actually,
please? We really want to give that to you.
Tradesies.
Takes it
Just
back.
kidding.
Swip swap.
He's back. So that's something.
Just swip swap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Kev.
Harbaugh. I'm on the opposite side. I don't see us wanting to give that pick up. We got that in a year where we don't have a first or a second round pick. So to get some talent, I think is just a little bit more important if we can get Harbaugh. If Harbaugh says, no, I'm not taking it, then maybe, but I just think Harbaugh is going to be the guy that they go with and takes the job. I
think Harbaugh is going to be the second option. I think it's not going to be like, oh, Harbaugh didn't take it, so now we're going to go to Peyton. I don't see
That's
that.
what I think.
Do you think?
That's what I think. I think so.
I think Peyton's the number one choice for the Broncos.
I'll go to DraftKings and put a little wager on it.
I wonder if that's a possibility. Yeah. Everyone should go to DraftKings and look that up right now.
Yeah, everybody check it out. Get a new code TPPN. So I'm out on Peyton because I think we have to give up more than. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have a coach like Peyton, and David mentioned it. I mentioned on an earlier show is I think he's retired once on a bad season because it just got too much for him. And what's to say he's gonna not say he's gonna do it again, but like there's got to be a level of like cautious optimism with him. So
he's got to stick around.
I think, it's got to be someone. It's got to be someone. We got to have someone for the long term, and I think that's what they tried to do with Hackett. They were like, "Hey, we got a young guy. We can keep him for long term." So for that reason, I think Jim Harbaugh is probably. I'm probably about 51% Harbaugh, and then I'd also say like there might be someone out there that we're not talking about right now. And and honestly, when I heard that defense coordinator from what's his name, David, the defense coordinator from San Francisco.
D'Amico Ryans. I just don't think we hire another first-time.
We can't. I'm so sick of the new head coach. We've done this 3 times in a row. It has not worked out.
Especially on the defensive side of the ball, but especially on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know. It seems hard, like a hard sell to me.
Well, if and here's my thing: if we get an offensive coordinator on the offensive side of the ball, especially if it's his first year, he can't call plays. It's got to be a senior offensive coordinator. Yes. And we've talked about this on the defense too. Same thing a couple of years ago. Like we got it. If you're going to get someone that's defensive heavy, you got to get a senior offensive coordinator, and that's it. So,
it's true, but I don't know. Okay, so CEO Greg Penner has made it very clear he is running this coaching search, and he's going to take George Payton's input. If you're running it like a Walmart like organization, like I think he's looking for someone with experience. I don't think we're going with another first-time head coach here. I think they want to make it very clear that, hey, we are new owners. We want to win in this league. And I think they aren't going to take a first-year head coach
chance on.
Not worked out for us.
No, that's fair.
I think Dan Quinn is a reasonable answer.
I think he is too.
He's proven
I think he's the cheapest of the 3.
And Russ has the most experience with him of any of them, which I don't think is something we can count out. I think, I think
that actually might be.
Whoever said it earlier, Russ is definitely going to have a big say in whoever ends up getting the job. So,
so did we all pick between Peyton?
Everybody,
I think we all pretty much have different answers.
Okay, cool.
So, I think we all picked somebody who wasn't Quinn, and it's going to be Quinn. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I'm picking Quinn.
Oh, all right.
That's my answer.
Okay.
I thought about picking Quinn, but then I didn't.
Talked about
and not for nothing. If you go back on, I picked Quinn for last year. I thought Quinn was a front runner, and I really liked him for our quarter. People didn't want a defensive head coach though at that time. We went back to defensive head coach. They wanted an offensive mind.
I'm not gonna lie. Last year we got what I wanted: a young head coach. Like it seemed like it was, but Yeah. Where would we be now if we had gotten Quinn last year? Are we in the playoffs? Are we?
Did we do worse?
Wayback
I don't know.
Machine.
Yeah, there's no. I don't know. But now how do you go? I mean, it's hard to
we
say.
We could have done worse.
It could have been worse. Like we
still won 5 games.
Let's not have hyperbole and say it couldn't. It went as badly as it possibly could have gone.
Could have been.
Until we fired Hackett, we were in the running for the number 1 pick in the draft.
In the running, but did we get it?
No, we didn't, and we fired Hackett.
Nope. The Texans coach
and
gave the organization the middle finger and went out there and won.
And they got fired.
Yeah,
and they got
fired anyway.
He knew he was getting fired. He's like, you know what? We're gonna go win this game.
I would have gone and done the same thing. Yeah, did you die?
It was like you had one job was to lose this game, and you go for a 2-point.
He was like, you're gonna fire me anyway, so screw you.
Exactly. You hired me to be your sacrificial lamb. That's fine. I'm winning a game. Screw you.
I would have done both the organization and him. I would have done the same thing.
There you go.
So
back to my original question, John. Did you die? Then it could have gone. It could have gone worse.
No, it could have
gone worse.
Man, I think with this talent, I think we win 5 games.
How did I
don't think it could have gone worse. I think we could have gotten
a healthy team that prepared well during preseason and training camp and played their players.
All right. Well, you're wrong. But anyway.
I'm just saying, I think it could have been better, obviously, but it could have been a lot worse too.
Yes.
And to say that Dan Quinn being the head coach would have changed anything, I don't know.
No, I'm just saying.
Right, but yeah. No, I understand.
It's
one of those things like
it's never fun. No one ever wins that game.
No, exactly.
Couple questions, Kevin. I don't think we're doing a backstage show. When are we hanging out again?
We will be hanging out again at the start of the 2023 season, which for us starts in 2 weeks. January 24th at 7 p.m. is our fan appreciation show. Also the kickoff to the 2023 season, because all the shows we do after that will be geared towards 2023 in terms of free agency, the draft, all that stuff, right? So join us for that.
Are we doing an after show? I missed it. Are we doing an after show after this?
Not tonight. Well, I'm not. I can't.
Dude, do you want to just hang out and just talk shit to each other?
Let's do it. We'll go live.
Let's
do it.
I mean, I can just leave and keep this broadcast rolling. You guys can do whatever you want. So
no, we'll go to an after show, YouTube only.
All of a sudden, Kevin and David have a life. Like, since when did that happen?
I know. Yeah, no, me and you are the only ones being able to stay on. This is ridiculous.
This is weird.
But as we wrap this up, I gotta go say goodnight to my daughter. So I am gonna say final thoughts here. We're gonna have a great time on the fan appreciation show. And I'm super excited for it. And also, we're going to give away so much swag, all the swag. And hopefully we have some Orange Weekly swag. I think we're working on that, Kev. Me and Kev are going to work on some Orange Weekly stuff so we can get some Orange Weekly stuff for everybody. Super excited to have you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support. Year 7, year 6.
I still have cookies. Does that count?
Cookies will be one of the prizes.
Yes.
Weekly cookies will be one of the prizes.
I love it.
Yep.
Those cookies are kind of old.
They're kind of old. I was debating, do I eat one still?
Try. Still be fine. I mean, they're individually packaged.
They are.
Join our after show. Join Orange Weekly after show, and he will eat a fucking cookie on.
Let's see if John throws up on air. That's a fun.
Yeah, let's see if John throws up on air after eating a cookie that's been there for 6 months. So
it's been months. Yeah, it's been months.
So yeah, anyways, I miss you guys. Broncos season's over. Look forward to the off season, and we'll push forward, and we'll see some of you guys on the after show. And I will see you guys later. Sorry, I gotta take off.
No, you're good.
But
you're good. Take care,
love
Jared.
you guys. We'll miss you guys. See you soon.
See ya. And we'll do our closing thoughts here, but yeah, guys, the 24th is gonna be awesome. Again, if you didn't watch the fan appreciation episodes from the previous 2 years. We're here to hang around, give out prizes, have fun with y'all, and just enjoy each other, enjoy the off season itself, or enjoy the fact the season's over and we have good things to look forward to after what we experienced this year. So make sure you join us there. Usually about an hour and a half, 2 hour show. But it's just absolutely awesome. Probably going to have Jeff Legwold from ESPN joining us. Des from Broncos for Dummy. I need to reach out to her. Hopefully she can join. A couple other special guests will hop on and help give out prizes and hang out and stuff like that. So,
Kevin,
are
any of these people committed? Because I feel like you're just
Jeff is. No, Jeff is.
All right, that's a big deal.
Des, I think I mentioned it to Des before, but
jealous of his lifestyle and what he does for a living. So
yeah.
And amazing insight, just an amazing guy, and just love Jeff, love talking with him, and couldn't ask for a nicer guy either.
Yeah, exactly.
Bother him for a job.
Yeah, right. Same here.
Does he need an assistant?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I would do it in a heartbeat.
I would go into like the octagon with you guys, and whoever comes out alive.
Why don't we, instead of a physical?
Actually, no. David's much taller than me. Just you and me, Kevin.
So we counterpoint. We could also do a writing competition. That would, I think, be. Why don't we?
I'll go in. Yeah, I'll go in. Yeah. No,
sounds
Kevin. No, too much chance. I can't.
That's how I win, man. Chance.
Yeah, I believe that.
How about this?
I don't want
it. When I become Jeff's assistant, would you want to be my assistant? Would you want to be the assistant to the assistant?
We can talk at that point, Kevin. You have to get the job first.
Okay. Sounds good.
2-man enter, 1-man leave. 1-man leave.
I think me and David are much more on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
also, I don't want to fight David because he's much taller than me.
I don't want to fight John.
Do we get weapons?
I don't feel that confident.
Weapons are provided.
Okay. Is there range? Can I get?
There's a range.
No range.
No guns. No guns. But
dibs on crossbow.
Life, you
already have an advantage.
Sucks to suck.
A rusty spoon.
I said spoon,
I had to say a gun. I have a gun.
No, there's no gun. He literally just said no guns. There's no guns. It's you gotta get a slingshot.
Okay, how about this?
Yeah, that is an option.
Printer. I print a gun.
No, that's still not a gun. Option.
There's no gunpowder down there.
It's not.
And then I get like a 2-day head start, so it prints in time.
No, that's not okay.
And so that you can redo it when it messes up the first time.
Yeah, I'm officially against.
I'll come prepared. Come on, Kevin. Like I wouldn't practice beforehand.
Anyway, John, what closing thoughts do you have, man?
Good season overall for the Broncos. I thought this is exactly what we expected coming into the year. There wasn't any talk about playoffs or Super Bowl. Definitely nothing about a top 5 pick going to Seattle. So, no, that's a real bummer. Final take. Sorry, Kevin, for the final show of the regular season. I'll be honest though, the last 5 games, take out the Rams game because that is literally the reason why our head coach was fired. There was a marked improvement on the offense. So just, if they can build off that, and the defense, honestly, it was a big flip-flop in those 5 games between the offense and the defense. I think on the defense side, you blame it on injury. And I hate to do it, but like they were carrying the load for the first 10 to 12 weeks. So I feel good about the defense, regardless of who the defensive coordinator is, because this is probably the 10th time I said this on an Orange Weekly show. Going into this season, defense was the concern. We thought the offense was buttoned up. Evero deserves a look at head coach. I don't think he'll get it with the Broncos. He might get it elsewhere. Would love if they've figured out a way to get him back still. But won't be surprised if that can't happen. So, just building on the offense. It's all on Russell Wilson going into next year. So we're going to find out. And kind of sucks because it makes 2023 a we'll see situation. And this will be my last point because I've got drawn on here a little bit. But I think Jason has pointed out, like, you don't go from being a top 10 quarterback for the last 10 years. I mean, top 5 for the last 10 years to like bottom of the league. out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So there's something wrong there. So I think there's hope that they can turn this around on the offense.
I like it. No. Well said, man. David, what do you think, bud?
It's a dangerous declaration that I'm about to make, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Do it. What do you have to lose, David?
Absolutely right. I think that the Broncos have hit rock bottom, and I think we're there. As far I know that I said things could have been worse this season, and I still think that, but I also think simultaneously we're there. We're at rock bottom. We've bounced off. And like John said, maybe we started to even inch back towards the surface again. And it's all going to depend, obviously on the head coaching hire. It's obviously going to be a really important offseason. Not that they're not all important off seasons, but
sure.
At the end of the day, I think there's just one way to go, but up.
Yeah.
Right now. And
I so many seasons.
Listen, I lose nothing by being wrong about this. I've staked nothing on this but my reputation, and let's face it, that's not saying much. So we have really, me personally and the team, nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, there you go. Well, look, the one difference that we have this year between from previous years, we have owners. We have somebody who is going to sit there and say, yeah, we need to replace this field. Hey, boss, there's only one game left of the season. Yeah, I don't care. Replace the field. That's $400,000. Yeah, I don't care. Okay, you're going to have to replace it again before next season. Yeah, and I don't care. We have owners that are going to willing to shell out the money and do what's right for the players, for the fans, for the stadium.
Yeah.
And we have that leadership. We have, the actions are starting to show that, and hopefully continue to show throughout the offseason, that when they say, we want to go back to our former, what this team formerly was in terms of the reputation they had around the league, they mean it. Yeah. And they're going to do what they can to get there. So that's what excites me about this.
And Kevin, wasn't it a year ago? Maybe it was 2, but I feel like it was last year that we're like, our biggest problem is top down. It comes from the ownership and the leadership that they bring. And, we were in this this weird zone for the last few years until they took over. And by the time they took over last year, the head coach was hired. George Payton was running the show at that point until they took over. But I 100% agree with you, Kevin. They're trying to prove that they want to show to the fans that they are very serious about this and they want to win now.
Yep. Agreed. Jared, what you think, man?
I was super happy that after I put her down, you guys were still here. I loved you guys. Yeah. David looks like he took a nap and is just now waking up from it.
David's just jealous that he's not in your house right now and you didn't put him down.
There you go. Yeah, I would like to be put to bed by Jared, please.
Yeah.
All the time.
Who doesn't? I don't understand.
All the time.
No,
okay.
John?
No, John. Hand down, John.
I'll do it once. and see how it feels.
Everybody will try once, and then you're addicted. Next thing you know.
I won't say that I didn't try it at that point.
Okay.
Right.
Well, anything else, Jared?
Where are we still here? Are you guys did?
Yeah, Jared, you can hop in. We're giving our final thoughts.
You're the last final thoughts.
I gave my final thoughts before. I was just happy to be back. I was happy to see you guys.
Just making
sure.
No,
my final thoughts are good. I appreciate you guys.
Do it again.
You want me to do it again? Okay. All right. Here's my final thoughts on the Broncos. I gave a final thoughts on Orange Weekly. I was really Orange Weekly focused, but final thoughts on the Broncos.
Orange Weekly. There's no final thoughts on Orange Weekly. It's forever. There's no.
We will be doing this again next year, regardless.
We'll be doing this again in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. We're doing that too. We're doing that.
There's
too.
No final thoughts.
Maybe more drunk, but we'll see.
We'll
see how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, so
joke's on you, I'm always
Broncos season, we won games and we lost some. And I think that says something about the team that we need to do better. I honestly, I'm coming down, John. I think it comes up to, and David's out.
David's like, I'm done.
I think it came down to you, John. I think what you said, top down, is really what it comes down to. I think.
Well, I stole it from Kevin, but it's not like
it's gonna get. Are you really gonna give Kevin credit for this?
I mean, because I already did my thing, and then Kevin did his thing, and then I came back in for Kevin's thing. But yeah, I'll take the credit.
Okay, all right. So John said a great, very, very wise thing, and it was that this starts from the top down, and it's going to. I don't expect next year to be a playoff season. I expected this year to be a playoff season at the beginning of the year. I do not expect next year to be a playoff season because we are going to be starting. What's that?
I'm not against this because last year we said Super Bowl. We have an actual offense now. Before even being play.
Well, because last year going into the season, it was like all we need is a quarterback. All we need is a quarterback and a good offensive caller, and we got both of them. And now it's like, okay, hey, we got top down. John again as great idea. And we got an owner, and it's going to take a little bit of time to get there, and it's not going to be overnight. And I think whoever we get, we need longevity as a coach. It's just what it comes down to.
All agree that we're going to be bottom 5 next year, and then I think the reverse psychology is what happens to the team. We're in the Super Bowl all of a sudden.
I don't think with the talent that we currently have. I don't think we're bottom 5. I think we're in the middle. But I think
joking. I think we're going to be a Super Bowl next year, and I think we're going to win it all.
That escalated quickly. That went from one side to the other. The pendulum is swinging hard right now.
I guarantee that we're going to be somewhere in the middle of that.
Yeah, we're going to be,
or at the extremes. One of those two.
We're not going to be the best, and we're not going to be the worst. So we'll be one of the 30 teams in the middle. We'll be one of the 30 teams in the middle.
No, we're winning it.
That is my.
Well, ladies and gentlemen.
We
took a turn there at the last
fantastic end of the show here.
That's a good
wild card, David. Wild card.
Lead into the after show.
It's wild card weekend, baby. Woo!
That's true.
Get wild. Get crazy.
David's always bringing us down, I feel like.
I know.
No, I think he's our rock. He's our foundation.
You would think David lives on the East Coast and it's like midnight his time, but it is currently 8:30 and 8:30. He is about to pass out on show.
No, it's bedtime, guys. Like I don't know what you're talking. Like we don't have to start talking with all these fancy numbers. We don't have to get Jared's abacus out. My body knows what time of day it is, and it's bedtime, and that's fine.
Well, gents, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Another good year in the books. So 2 things to end the show on. First, this is the end of the 2022 season, and then end it with a very strong.
Thank God. Good riddance.
Go Broncos.
Okay.
Here we go.
Broncos.
2023. Let's do it.
Let's ride.
That's gonna be the year.
You're a dick.
That's the year.
What I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.